Hello friends, and thank you so much for joining me for Nurture. This is a class for the days that your body might really be craving movement, but you know that what you really need is some rest. So hopefully this practice will nurture both the stillness and a little bit of movement with some yin at the beginning, some really gentle, longer holds, moving into a nice slow flow towards the end. So go ahead and grab anything that you need for a nice cozy practice. Grab a block if you normally practice with one, a pillow, a blanket. Get yourself set up however you would like, however makes you feel nurtured. And then whenever you're ready, we will begin. So once you have everything that you need, go ahead and make your way to a comfortable seat. You can sit onto your pillow, your block. I'm sitting on my blanket for a little bit of extra cushion. You could wrap yourself up in your blanket however you want right now. You could be cross-legged or kneeling, legs long, completely up to you. Just get yourself settled into a comfortable seat. And then once you are settled, you can close your eyes. Let your hands rest wherever feels good for you, in your lap or on your legs, by your sides. And then we'll take a nice deep breath in and really draw your shoulders up towards your ears. And as you breathe out, let your shoulders drop down. We'll take two more. Breathing in to lift your shoulders high. And breathing out, let them drop down. Last big breath in, shoulders lift. Big breath out, shoulders fall. And then keeping your shoulders relaxed down, take one hand to your stomach and one hand over top of your heart. We'll take a few really slow, deep, and intentional breaths together. So sealing the lips, using your next inhale to fill up your heart, your ribs, and your stomach. And as you exhale, feel your stomach, your ribs, and your heart fall. Breathing in again, your heart lifts, your ribs fill, your stomach expands. And as you breathe out, your stomach draws in, your ribs deflate, your heart falls. Another inhale to your heart, your ribs, your stomach. Exhale out the stomach, the ribs, the heart. Breathing in, fill up, feel your heart, your ribs, your stomach expand. Breathing out, feel everything deflate. Keep breathing in and out. In and out. Two more on your own. And once you finish your last breath, you can let your arms rest down wherever feels right for you. You can keep your eyes closed, or you can gently flutter them open. And if you're sitting cross-legged, I'll invite you to switch the cross of your legs, or if you'd like to take a different seat, if you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable, you can switch that up now. Still sitting up tall, still breathing smooth, deep breaths. Begin to let your chin fall to your chest. And then drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Feeling a stretch down the left side of the neck, maybe into the shoulder and the upper back. You are more than welcome to stay right here, Or it might feel nice to increase the sensation by bringing your left fingertips to the mat, maybe walking them out a little bit away from you. You could stay there, or you could try wrapping your left arm behind you, reaching for either your right hip or your right elbow. Adjusting the right arm so you can grab the right elbow, and then resting your right hand back into your lap or on your leg. If that does not feel comfortable or accessible, then find somewhere that does for you. You might enjoy staying in stillness or gently nodding the head a little up and down, or turning the chin gently, all the while keeping the face and the jaw soft. The shoulders, especially the left shoulder, dropping away from the ear. A few more breaths, either with movement or with stillness. And if you have any sort of bind, you can let both hands rest onto the lap. And your chin gently roll back towards your chest. Pausing there for a breath or two. Letting the left ear fall towards the left shoulder. Taking a moment to see how this side feels. Maybe staying or bringing the right fingertips to the floor, crawling them out as far as you'd like to increase the sensation down the right side, or possibly wrapping the right arm behind you, either reaching for the left hip or the left elbow, resting the left hand back in the lap if it reaches. Keep dropping the right shoulder down, relaxing face, tongue, and teeth. Maybe bringing a little bit of movement as you nod your head gently yes. Move the chin around and notice where you feel it, how you feel it, down the right side. And last couple of breaths, either with movement or stillness. And gently releasing, bringing your right hand back to the lap if it's not already there. Chin gently drawing towards your chest. Feel a little bit more of an active pull here with your chin to your chest as you start to round your spine, spreading the shoulder blades, hands maybe gripping onto the kneecaps, rounding through the back. Staying here or wrapping your arms around you, giving yourself a big hug, reaching for shoulder blades, squeezing everything in tight, feeling the length through the back of the neck, all along the spine. Maybe you lean back a little bit more and feel a bit of length in the low back. Really slowly begin to release, hands to the mat as you sit up tall. Hands gently walk behind you, fingertips or palms down into the floor as you start to open up the front body, lifting the heart high, drawing the shoulders back and down, and seeing how the neck feels. You might begin to open up through the front of the neck, through the throat by dropping the head back a little bit, only as far as feels safe for you and your body. Take one more big breath into the front body. And as you breathe out, start to soften, come right back to center, tall spine. And go ahead, open your eyes if they were still closed. And you can take your legs out wide. You might want your block here. If the hips are feeling a little bit stiff, then you can sit up onto it, or you can have it out in front of you with the legs wide but relaxed, a little bend in the knees, sitting up tall onto your sit bones. You might grab onto your block here as you feel the spine grow a little bit taller, and then start to hinge, either sliding the hands on the floor or sliding the block a bit away from you until you feel like you can't slide any further, which might not need to be very far, and that's okay. Pausing, feeling the length as you reach your hips back, reach your heart forward for a moment. And then begin to let yourself round, bringing either head or hands to the block or the floor. Letting your head really drop here. Noticing if the legs want to work and if you can relax them. Taking big breaths through the entire back body. Letting yourself rest here, pausing in some stillness. Give yourself one more full inhale. Nice long, smooth exhale. And you can stay folded. You might take your block along with you as you begin to sort of crawl towards the right-hand side. You could take your block to the inside or the outside of the right leg, or maybe you don't use it and you rest your right hand or your arm on your right leg. Either way, just pause with the upper body over the right leg for a few moments, maybe rounding a little more or releasing the head a little more. You're welcome to stay there, or if you'd like to open and get a bit more of a side body stretch, you can start to roll the left shoulder back, maybe reaching the left arm up and over. If the arm gets tired or the head gets tired, you could gently cradle the back of the head with the left hand. You could also always drop the left hand down anytime you'd like. And sometimes it feels nice to gently bend the right elbow and use the right hand like a little shelf for the head. So you're supporting, not putting in too much effort here. Breathing into the sensation down the left side, through the back of the arm, the rib cage, down the waist and into the hip. Keeping your left hip pretty planted for the last few big breaths. And gently letting the left hand lower down if it was lifted. As you crawl through center, you might take your block along with you towards the left side, folding over the left leg for a moment or two, letting your head drop, again, spine round. Try to keep the legs pretty passive. And choosing if you'd like to stay or if you'd like to start to open. Rolling the right shoulder back, the left arm could rest on your block or your leg. The right hand can support the head as the armpit reaches up towards the sky. Maybe you'd like to bend the left elbow, letting it rest on something so that you can let your head rest on your left hand. Just like a headrest. Feeling the space down the right side. Feeling the breath down the right side. Maybe you can breathe a little bit more space there. Last couple of breaths, and if you need to drop the top arm, you most certainly can. And slowly bringing both hands to the mat if they're not already there, crawling back to the center. Just to notice, maybe you can lengthen a little bit more. Maybe there's a little more space right in the center with your head heavy, your legs relaxed, your spine rounding. And give yourself one more big breath in. Nice smooth breath out. And very slowly walk your hands back towards you. Sitting up tall, you can set your prop to the side if you were using one, bringing your hands behind you. And gently bending the knees, the feet are wide, dropping your knees from side to side. A little bit of a release for the low back. A little bit of movement in the hips. It's normal to feel a little bit or a lot of stiffness coming out of that shape. Next time your knees fall to the right, you'll keep them there towards the right side and you'll sit up a little taller. You might actually also want your prop here. Just having it handy as you let your knees fall to the right, left knee behind the right foot. Left foot could be either further away from you or closer to your hip. If you feel left hip is probably going to be pretty lifted here. This is called deer. If you feel that it is really lifted high and it's uncomfortable, fold up a blanket or slide your block underneath of there. We'll lengthen the spine here with shoulders stacked over hips, taking a big breath in, arms reach high. And as you breathe out, take a twist to the right. So let your left hand just rest somewhere on the right leg, your right hand behind you, dropping the shoulders down, staying here for a few rounds of breath. Gentle twist in the spine. You don't need to turn your head too far back, but maybe just bringing the gaze slightly over the right shoulder. Use your next inhale to unwind. Reach your arms up through center. Maybe you lengthen a little bit more. And as you breathe out, start to twist towards the left side. Right hand can rest wherever feels good, and left hand can rest behind you. And as we twist the opposite way, relax the shoulders. Feel the spine tall. Smooth inhales help you to lengthen. Smooth exhales to invite the twist. Use your next inhale to come back through center, reach up again. And as you breathe out, bring your hands out in front of you. You could be onto your fingertips here, a little lean forward. I like to take my hands wide, and we'll just start to sort of sway the upper body over and along the front shin. You might notice a bit of adjusting in the front hip here, maybe the back hip as well. And as you're swaying, you're gently scanning, seeing if you can notice an area that feels like a beneficial stretch for you. So an area that might feel a little bit sticky, and then allow yourself to pause there. Maybe bringing your hands to the floor or your prop. You can let your head rest. You might be aimed over the right shin, over the foot or the knee. It might change each time you move through this practice. But when you find it today in this moment, let yourself lean into it. Feeling the body begin to soften in a bit of stillness. Using your breath to nurture that stillness. Nurturing what is coming up. A bit of restlessness, completely normal. Feeling distracted, also very normal. Take one more full, loving breath. And slowly begin to lift the upper body. As you allow the legs to come back to center, you can bring your prop to the other side. If you used it, hands are behind you. We'll drop the knees right and left a couple times to move that around. Just a gentle flushing. Next time your legs fall to the left, keep them there for your deer on the second side. So right knee can slide up behind the left foot. Right foot can be close to the hip or out a little wider. You might adjust here, sliding anything that you need to underneath of your right hip as you sit up as tall as you can. Shoulders over the hips, breathing in to reach, to lengthen. Breathing out to twist. Left hand behind you for support. Let your right hand rest wherever you need to. Hands are only helping for a little bit of support. The twist is coming from the spine, the center of the body. Using your next inhale to unwind, to reach, to lengthen, and your exhale to twist towards the right. Breathing in, feel the space. Breathing out to move into it. Breathing in to lengthen. Breathing out to twist. Inhale brings you back to center. One more big reach. Lengthen. And as you breathe out, hands lower down. Take them out wide if you wish, maybe onto the fingertips as you start to sway the upper body, noticing likely that this side is different than the first one. And you just notice those differences. You might be already noticing or knowing where you need to be on this side, where the stretch will be right for you. And so allow yourself to sink into that with or without any prop. Head dropping, shoulders rounding, feeling yourself supported by the ground beneath you, supported by the shape, by your breath. And finishing off your last full round of inhale and exhale. And using your hands to gently bring yourself back up. And slowly bringing the legs through center. Last couple windshield wipers, knees falling side to side. You might gaze over opposite shoulder as your legs drop one way, your head turns the other. And when you're ready, the legs can come back up to center and we'll make our way into a child's pose. So coming towards the back of the mat. Knees can be as wide as you'd like, big toes together. Arms can stretch out as you melt the upper body down between the thighs. Forehead might be resting on the mat, your hands, or a prop. Try to keep it pretty passive here in this child's. Sinking hips towards the heels, although they might not touch. Feeling the stretch through the back body, maybe into the low back, maybe some pressure in the hips. Take one more big breath in. Long breath out. And then begin to slide your arms a little bit closer to you. So there's a big bend in your elbows. Your fingers are spread wide. Start to breathe in as you lift up through cow. So you're pressing the ground away. Elbows lift. The heart reaches through the upper arms. The tail lifts. As you breathe out, round through cat. So you're tucking the chin, the tail. Push the ground away as you send your hips back into your child's pose. Moving through waves just like that. Breathing in. Pushing the ground away, lifting your heart, lifting your tail up into your cow. As you breathe out, feel the rounding. As you curl in, press back to child's pose. Take this at your own pace. If this is feeling a little bit too much for you, you can take your cat-cow from all fours, no problem at all. You can take any other movement that will nurture you and your spine. Finishing off your last round of breath, coming back to child's.